Hey guys, Shot Monkey here. This time I want to bring you a review of the Russian Tier 5 fighter, the Lavochkin LaGG-3. So, what do you know about this aircraft? Well, one thing I'm going to mention straight away. You can see here is you only got 2 guns for the aircraft. This means that of all the Tier 5 Russian aircraft, you have the lowest firepower of any of the Tier 5s, both including the premiums and the regular aircraft in the tech tree. So, first thing I'm going to suggest that you guys do with this aircraft when you get it, upgrade to 23mm cannon. They're pretty much the same, but you want to upgrade it so you have the option. The 23mm cannon gives you slightly better damage output and a slight loss of trigger time and slight accuracy nerf. Another thing I'd suggest that you guys do is run universal. If you feel like you're being hampered by the firepower of the aircraft, universal belts will help you out. They will increase the amount of critical damage that you get on aircraft and also increase the chance that you set fires. And both of these will help you get assists or help you get kills quicker on aircraft that you get in front of this, in front of the guns on this plane. Another thing I want to recommend, not recommend, but another thing I want to point out for you guys is the fact that this aircraft, despite what people have said, I've heard people say that it's underperforming or a bit weak. It's not that. This aircraft, manoeuvrability, speed and survivability wise, is about on par with all the Tier 5 aircraft for the Russian tech tree. So while it isn't the best out there, because of course this is a bit of a limiting or disadvantage factor with the fact that you have less firepower, it's by every other means it's still a competitive plane. I wouldn't say it's the best out there. I think that goes down to probably the LaGG-7, the LaGG-1, MiG-3, depending on the playstyle that you guys have. But this is not an aircraft that I think you should skip through. I still think it's a plane that's worth flying on your way down to the LA5. Of course, if you really dislike it, as you can see from the grade tree here, you only need to pick up the second engine, so the first engine upgrade to get to the LA5. The next two are down here optional. The 23mm cannon, again, as I said, is also optional, and there's very little else you need to upgrade on this aircraft, so you can just breeze through it if you want to. But I still think it's an aircraft that's worth giving a shot, taking out for a couple of flights, seeing if you can put up with it. As you can see from me, I've upgraded everything, and now I'm grinding out the experience to get the LA5 itself, just because I'm a bit of a completionist, and also I think this and the other Tier 5 aircraft for the Russians are probably going to be the ones that I keep well after I've gone past them and gone into Tier 6, Tier 7 later tiers, just as something to fly out and have a bit of fun with, because I think they're all pretty nice aircraft so far. So first things first, we're going to go back to service again. As you can see here, consumables, I've picked up control surface trim. Again, with most Russian aircraft, your manoeuvrability is your more key strength over, vertical fighting, if you want to call it, speed, speed engagements, vertical manoeuvring, that kind of stuff. So your horizontal is more favourable. So of course, having your wings and tail, undamaged for as long as possible is the best option for you. Same thing with first aid dressing. Of course, if your pilot takes an injury, you take a hit to your manoeuvrability, so you want to keep him in tip-top condition. Fire extinguishers, not required. This thing doesn't catch fire as bad as the Japanese aircraft that you run into. I've only had this thing catch fire a few times, and even then on most occasions my aircraft has been destroyed in that same pass, so having a fire extinguisher on board didn't really make that much difference, but I've picked it up. You could of course go for a pneumatic restarter to fix your engine if you want to, but that's down to personal preference there. As I've already covered, upgrades, not much to this aircraft at all. The airframe you start with is the only airframe you're going to get. You have the option of going to a 23mm from the 20. Both these guns are quite effective. I've run both of them for quite a few games. I'm just sticking with the 23mm now because, hey, I've got it, so why not? And the engine upgrades, the last two are optional. The first one is the only one that's mandatory if you want to get the LA5. Equipment, as you can see, improved covering, extra bit of hit points, and reduces the chance of my wings and tail getting critical damage, which is always nice. Lightweight airframe to improve manoeuvrability in all axes, and then I've gone for improved reflector sight just to kind of, get the most out of these two guns that I can, because the more hits that I can land with the guns, the better off it'll be, and the less limiting that firepower will feel. You can also make the argument for engine tuning to improve your engine power, or control surface adjustment too, if you want better manoeuvrability in turns. Again, that's down to personal preference, but I think those are the three most optimal setups you can go for. With regards to the crew and the crew skills, straight away I've picked up aerobatics expert. I think that's the skill that is kind of big, something I'm going to pick up for this, the LaGG-7 and the LaGG-1. I think the MiG-3 is the only time I won't pick that up first, because of the MiG-3 being more of an altitude fighter than these three are. After that I'll go for battle tested. Again, reduces the amount that you suffer from having your aircraft damaged critically. And then after that I'll probably pick up the Engine Guru 1 and 2. I think those will be the skills that I pick up first on the MiG-3, and then probably the aerobatics expert and battle tested last. But these are like skills that I'll pick up on most of my fighters. They tend to be kind of trademark skills. Maybe some of them I might pick up aerodynamics expert on, depending on like the upgrades I've got equipped. But yeah, you could also make the argument if you wanted to for marksman, but I think with only 2 guns and they're both nose mounted, I think that's devoting too much onto your firepower. I think those points would be better spent elsewhere. But yeah, I think after at least aerobatics expert and battle tested, the rest of the skill points you can kind of choose where you want to put them depending on your own personal playstyle. But yeah, I think that's all I need to cover with this aircraft. Still a solid performer, not the best, but by no means the worst. And as you can see, I've done reasonably well with the aircraft myself, and it's been quite a nice aircraft to fly. With that, I'll let you guys go and watch the game footage. Only one game this time because it is quite a long one. It goes out for quite a fair period of time, goes right to the end. And it was a pretty good game. Came first on the team despite the loss, but got quite a nice amount of points. And yeah, really enjoyable game. With that said, catch you guys next time, and yeah, see you around.
You are approaching the front line. Off we go. Receiving reports about rapidly deteriorating weather conditions. Support will be unable to reach you. Do you read me? Over. We cannot support you any longer. The storm is too heavy. Do you copy? Over. Bomber squadron detected. Engage them immediately. They've almost got us. Pilots, we are losing the initiative. Push harder. Is almost defeated. Make a final push. enemy force is too strong.